good afternoon. It could be morning where you are, I don't know why I said that. Okay, so 5 things you can do to maximize recovery. Very important right now as gyms reopen next week for us in the UK. But also just for anyone who is restarting kind of a fitness journey or starting a fitness journey for the first time, or a new training program or anything, these 5 tips are going to help you regardless of where you're at. Just in terms of making sure that we're minimizing soreness, minimizing DOMs. DOMs are normal, like you are going to get some, but just maximizing recovery and just minimizing pain as such. Number 1, nutrition. Pretty basic, or maybe not basic, but pretty kind of straightforward. Making sure you're getting enough calories and you're getting enough protein. This can be difficult if you are on a fat loss plan because you feel like you want to keep food down but keep exercising. All you're going to do is tear all of your tissues, break it down, cause yourself injury, and then not be able to do anything. You just need to make sure you're getting enough food to recover. And if you're not sure what that is, speak to someone who will know. It can be difficult to find the right person, but just find someone who is kind of knowledgeable in sports nutrition, ask around for some reviews, and get someone who can really help you kind of tailor your nutrition towards your goals and towards your fitness plan. In terms of protein, I've spoken about this a lot lately, just making sure you're getting enough protein for your body and for the type of activity you're doing. Regardless of whether you're doing fat loss or muscle gain, or if you're just training performance, protein is going to be really, really important, especially if you're just starting out a new journey because your body hasn't built up those tissues or those muscle fibers yet to be able to cope with that kind of activity. So make sure that you're getting enough protein for your body, and in that, making sure your timings are right as well. I'm not a huge kind of advocate for making sure you get 30 grams straight after a workout, although that I do think that is important for some people, but also just making sure that you are splitting it out throughout the day so you're not just having all your protein in one meal. There's a lot of science around making sure you're just aiming for 20 to 30 grams in each portion, not kind of all in one block, spread out evenly throughout the day, and that will maximize your recovery. Obviously, if you're going into kind of bodybuilding or competing or any kind of professional sport, then you'll need a little bit more information on this, so find someone, as I said before, to help you. But the main rule of thumb is making sure you're getting at least 20 grams with each meal, and just making sure that that 20 to 30 grams is spread out but also adds up to your end goal at the end of the day that corresponds with your goal, the reason you're working out. Next thing, progressive training plan. So making sure that you're not going right in at kind of 100%, and then also making sure you're not running on 100% the whole way through. People tend to think that we always need to be pushing kind of harder to get more and to do more. In reality, like, our bodies need rest. That's why professional athletes, that's why kind of competitors, we have deload weeks, and that gives our body a chance to recover and kind of restore some kind of strength and muscle. If you haven't heard what that is, do some research, send me a message, find someone who does know and ask. But just making sure that your training plan is building up progressively, and then you're having those breaks in between to make sure that you are recovering and you are progressing. Otherwise you will plateau, you will get injured, and you just put too much stress on your body. In terms of the progressive plan, just making sure that when you first come in, especially for this week, if you're going back to a gym for like after some time off, or you're just starting a new program after having some time off, making sure you're not going back in where you left off. Obviously, if you're starting out a new program, it's probably going to be easier to kind of tailor and figure out where you are, as in, like, if you've never done anything before and you're coming in this the first time, it's a little bit easier because you are just kind of building it up from zero. If you've just taken a 6 months to a year off for whatever reason, for example, I haven't really trained for the last year properly because the gym's being closed. For me, going back in, I know I need to just really take it slow, start at kind of very low level and then build on it week on week. Otherwise, I know that in a couple of weeks time I will be injured. So just making sure that you are making that work. Next thing, core and warm up. This next kind of lot is probably together, but I'll split them into 2 points. So the first one, core and warm up, core and warm up, stuff you're gonna do at the beginning, and it's gonna ensure you're not getting injured during your workout. So making sure that you're getting the fluids moving between the joints, muscles are warming up, muscles are getting pliable, and you're just getting ready to work out. Core is going to be really important to start off. just because if you don't, then you're going to be working other muscles more. Your core is there to stabilize. If it's not working, then you will compensate and use something else. For example, if you're not using your core, you might use your hips. If you're not using your glutes, you might use your lower back. Yeah, lots of different things there, making sure you're activating the muscles that you're using, and it is tailored for, I guess, your goals, but also like the goal for the session that you're going into. Third point, that's the fourth point, into cool down and stretching. Honestly, this one is probably the one that most of my clients don't do, and honestly, I'm guilty of that too. Making sure that you're cooling down at the end of your workout, and that doesn't mean you have to kind of do a cool down flow and some yoga and like spend half an hour stretching, but just making sure, even if it's a light walk, for example, if you're at the gym and you've got to walk to work, walking to work if you can, and then doing some stretches before you, like after or before you shower, and then getting in. Obviously, if you don't have that luxury, cooling down on the treadmill, just doing a little bit of a walk, just going to get some fluids going around into your system, getting into the right muscles, promoting recovery with the nutrition going into the blood. That made no sense. Blood into the muscles. Making sure you are stretching, not just for I guess flexibility, recovery, but also for mobility, kind of all ties in together. It's going to help you much more getting into the next session that you do. Obviously, you should be doing mobility throughout your session anyway, and it should be something you're doing, but people massively underestimate how much of an impact it has on your recovery. At the end of the day, the more mobile you are, the more ease of movement you have, which means the less likely you are to get injured, and the less likely you are to be breaking down and compensating with other muscles. So making sure you're taking care of that. Obviously, like I said, most people will have that throughout their workout, but just making sure you're also working on things that you need to work on, maybe at the end with your flexibility, as well as stretching just for maintenance, and making sure that you're not having loads of tight muscles at the end of your workout. Last point, into the things you can do kind of in between, and these are the things that I actually wasn't going to put in this video, but I will. Things that kind of help you. Everyone might be slightly different, but a few things: recovery walks, so making sure when you have rest days you don't just sit down, making sure that you are still keeping your body moving. As I said before, the more you can keep your blood flow going, the more nutrients you're going to get to your muscles, and the more you're going to promote recovery quicker. So keeping yourself moving, making sure you're not just doing a really hard workout and then sitting down. Foam rolling can really help too. Foam rolling, like other recovery exercises with yoga, it's kind of similar thing. Obviously, foam rolling is more like a massage. You could have weekly massages or bi-weekly massages, they help a lot too. Again, it's just promoting that healing of the tissue, mainly through blood flow, other fluid flows, and just, yeah, making sure it's all organized the way that it needs to be organized. Baths and heat, especially if you have particular soreness or difficult DOMs for the first couple of weeks. Baths, you can obviously get bath salts and other kind of magnesium things, which will help to promote the recovery. Some people say it works, some people say it doesn't. When I was dancing, it was a lifesaver. Now I'm kind of not really sure whether that was just placebo or not. Everyone will have their own opinion. But having a bath, for one, in just warm water, as I said before, heats up those muscles and promotes that blood flow. So if you are really struggling, you can have hot water bottles, or I wouldn't say heat sprays or anything unless you are injured. But I do sometimes recommend, especially if a client is particularly sore after something we've done, I'll just get them to put like a hot water bottle on that area in the evening, just to promote the kind of blood to that area and promote healing. And other kind of things you can do in between. You may also have other things. If you do, feel free to leave them in the comments so that other people can learn from you. I've probably missed something. But yeah, just really important that we are maximizing recovery right now, especially with immune systems and everything going back into the gym and everything with COVID. Just making sure that we are still looking after ourselves and we're not just going in and then going to end up being injured or compromised in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Otherwise, have a wonderful day, and I'll be back soon.